Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 180, and I am so glad that you're here today because we're talking about you figuring out if starting a business is actually right for you. I know so many aspiring owners and then just people walking around that are thinking about starting a business, but they mull it over. They waffle back and forth. They don't know if it's right for them. They don't know how expensive it is, how time consuming, how hard, how scary, all that stuff. And today I want to kind of put that to rest and give you 5 things you can think about and then 2 quick solutions you can use to see if starting a business is right for you. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast. Each week I provide valuable tips and strategies for starting and building a business doing what you love, whether you're selling a product, a service, a coaching service, a consulting package, digital products, whatever it is, a retail store even. I have lots of retail store owners. If you are here starting a business, doing what you love, then you are in the right place. So I'm so happy you're here. Get plugged in. Did you know I have a private Facebook group? I do. It's for women starting businesses, doing what you love. So if that's you, scroll down right now. You're going to click the link. It's going to take you to Facebook. You're going to answer 3 quick questions. After you answer those, you're going to be in a little bit of a holding pattern. I'll approve you, and then I will let you in the group. And now you have a community of women who are starting businesses too, who are scared to death. So many are so scared. They're like, how do I get past the fear? How do I take all these steps? What am I doing? This is crazy. I'm scared. The whole 9 yards. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, you are now surrounded by a group of women who are going through the same things. You can ask those questions that are scary to you, that are, you're stuck on something and you're sitting there going, who can I ask? Well, now you can post it in the Facebook groups. You have support. Okay. I made this group for you. This is for you, and it's free, and it's a private group. Okay. Also, if you're new, make sure you grab my freebies. I have several free tools, like a 16-step checklist for getting your business started. I have a whole guide that helps you figure out what type of business you are meant to start. So make sure you get those freebies. And then I also have some great programs to help you, whether you are in the business planning stage or even idea stage, starting or growing. So make sure you check those out below. And if you've been listening a while, thank you so much to all my loyal listeners. Thank you to all my grow getters. Thank you to all my Just Getting Started group members. Y'all are amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so in awe of you. And I just thank you for supporting this podcast and for pursuing your dream. Because if you weren't pursuing your dream, I wouldn't have this job, right? And this is the most fulfilling career I've ever had. And I shouldn't have called it a job. I should have said I wouldn't have this career, because that's what it is. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels like a career. It's so wonderful. It's so rewarding. I just got off a call a little while ago with my grow getters, a live training. And it's just so rewarding when they have those aha moments and they see the light about their business and the difference they can make for people. So anyways, thank you all for being such loyal listeners. That is it. On to the episode. Well, hello, everyone. How are you? How is everything going? How is life? I need to know. Y'all know I need to catch up on all these things. I love it in the Women Starting Businesses Facebook group when you update me on things like your wins on Wednesdays, your thankful thoughts. I like it when we even talk about personal stuff too. It's so much fun. And I'm just so happy for all of you. And I'm so glad you're here today because there's some of you that are still wavering back and forth and trying to decide, is starting a business actually right for you? Like, is it right for this season of your life? Is it going to be super scary? Is it going to be super time consuming? I always think about like when I was thinking about getting my first dog, y'all, I mulled that over for so long. I was like, my kids need a dog. That's what I was thinking. I didn't even know. I kind of was a cat person. And I was like, I feel like I can't be that mom that doesn't let my kids have a dog because no one's allergic. There's no other reason why. I thought it was just being me, being like control freak or being lazy and not wanting to have the dog. So anyways, I researched it. I kept talking to people. Y'all, it's crazy. I kept talking to people. And then when it got down to it, I realized, do I really want a dog or not? Like that's what this is coming down to. Let's forget all these details and say, is my heart in this? Do I really want a dog? And I thought, you know what? I do want a dog. I grew up with dogs and I had cats too. And I was like, let's do it. And it's been the best thing ever. I have a dog right now that's 15 and a half, almost 16. He was my first dog that we had here in my family here with my kids, my husband and my kids. And then we have a second dog, Tucker, who's like 5 years old. Anyways, one of the best things I've ever done. I'm obsessed with my dogs, like completely obsessed. It's so ridiculous. So I know how y'all feel when you're thinking about taking on something massive. Okay. Getting a pet is a big deal, right? Starting a business is a huge deal. And I'm thinking about too, this just reminds me, when my husband and I were deciding whether we should go for having a third child, I debated it forever. And you know how long I debated it? You want to hear? So my first 2 kids are 3 years apart. And then I thought, there's no way I can handle a third child. No way. I was like, there's no way. I'm not doing 3. I'm only having 2. And my husband and I would be at church after that, after the second one was born, a couple of years after. And be at church walking by the kids' baby nursery. And he was like looking over at the baby nursery going, oh my gosh, a baby. I want one more. And he would look at me with those puppy dog eyes. And I'm like, what? I can't, I'm going to go crazy. I went crazy with my first one. I had like postpartum and I can kind of laugh about it now, but I do remember that it was bad. And I was like, and my son was super easy. No problems there. I didn't have postpartum, but I was like, what? We're not having a third one. Well, then we waited like 6 years. I think God gave me amnesia. That's what I say. He gave me amnesia, waited 6 more years. So I've got my oldest who's 3 years older than the second one. And then waited 6 years and decided, let's go for it because God gave me amnesia. And literally, she changed all of our lives. Little Miss Ava. What would I do without her? What would our family do? What would our family do without anyone in the family? But it's just so crazy when you have these tough decisions in your life and you look back and go, I had so much angst over that. Like I literally would think about my child is going to be 6 years younger than the middle child. She's going to be home alone in high school. She's going to be home alone from 7th grade up, and it's just going to be her. And we're going to be old. And here we are. My husband and I are old. And we've got an 8th grader, you know, she'll be in 9th grade next year. But I had so much angst. And you know what? She literally told me this 2 days ago. She's like, I'm so glad I'm the third child. And I'm so glad I'm here alone and no other siblings are home because no one's picking on me. It's not a big mess. There's no chaos. And that's who she is. She's the person that needs serenity and peace and no drama. And I'm like, God had this planned all along, right? We lament and just sit there and waver back and forth on big decisions that we really want to do, but we always stall ourselves and we sit there and question everything. Do y'all do this? Is there any big decision you're going through, maybe besides business, that you can relate to on this, right? Like you just sit there and think about all the possibilities. You're like drawing flow charts or spreadsheets or you're doing whatever. And you're like, okay, here's the pros and cons. And you're doing all this stuff and you overthink it. You overthink it and you don't realize that your heart is in it. Is this you today? Have you been wanting to start a business for either a really long time or maybe it's something that's come up recently because you've got a part-time job, full-time job that you're miserable at, that you don't feel like you're really being fulfilled at, that you're really using your God-given gifts? Is this you? Do you feel like this? And in your heart, you would love to start a business. You have something in your soul that you've been yearning to offer the world. And I know that sounds dramatic. Does that sound dramatic? But it's literally how I feel because it's how I felt when I started this business. It was like, it was burning inside me. Like, I want to do this. this. I want to help motivate these people and help them actually get their business going instead of putting it off, actually pursue it. That's what I'm here for. I knew that was my calling, to stop putting things off and actually pursue them and get your business going and do it, because I know that it's going to be the most fulfilling thing, one of the most fulfilling things that you've ever done in your life, right? So today I'm sharing with you 5 things to consider so that you can decide if starting a business for you. And the first one, you guessed it, is, are you passionate about it? Do you actually love what you want to do, like what you want to offer? Maybe you make something yourself with your hands. Maybe it's a service you've been wanting to offer. Maybe it's some type of coaching or consulting like I do, right? Or maybe you work for, businesses, right? Whatever it is. Or maybe you even just want to offer like courses or some kind of training or workshops or retreats. It could be anything, but are you passionate about it? So ask yourself right now, am I passionate about this? Do I believe in it wholeheartedly? Because here's what's going to happen if you pick a business idea that you're not passionate about. This is my opinion. You can agree or disagree. I think in the long term, if you don't love it, it's going to become a job. That's my personal opinion. So I say start a business doing something at least in the realm that you love, that you're excited about, that you're passionate about, that's going to get you up every day, that when things are hard and when customers are mean or you're not making any money or you have to stay up late at night, you actually love what you're doing. Now, granted, you're not going to love it 24/7. There's going to be things you're going to be totally annoyed when customers rip you off or they're mean to you or you get a bad comment on social or whatever. You're going to have thick skin. But are you passionate about it? Do you love it? Does it excite you? Are you yearning to do this? If you are, then this could be an amazing option for you. Okay. And I'm telling you, I've run businesses my whole adult life that I've loved. I started my first business with a friend. We sold monogrammed gifts. Well, actually, at home accessories at the time. And then I took it online and did mostly personalized because that was popular. But I loved it. I started my other website, which was kids' collegiate gear and clothing and baby stuff. And I loved it, absolutely loved it for that season of my life, right? And then I started doing photography because it was a hobby, and I started, photographing people's families and kids, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And this one I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with it. I love this podcast. I love helping people. I love encouraging people, motivating people. It's my passion. Okay. Is it your passion? Maybe it's not your most passion. So let's not say that it has to be that, but something that you are passionate about. I'm passionate about living a healthy lifestyle. There's other things I'm passionate about, but I knew I didn't want to start a business doing them because I thought about that. I was like, oh, I could do like some kind of not holistic, but just more like healthy lifestyle. And I was like, I think about all that stuff too much. And it just felt heavy to be talking about it all the time with a business. So you kind of have to think about that. Is that something you could talk about 24/7? Do you want to do this all the time? Right? So it doesn't turn into another job. So are you passionate about it? If so, yes. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, are you willing to be bad at something at the beginning? Are you willing to be bad at this at the beginning? Are you willing to have to learn and go through a learning curve? I was thinking about my son's in Madrid right now this semester, and all he wants to do is learn Spanish. And he said, I'm going to do this. I want to learn Spanish over the semester. He's at some Spanish school that's 3 hours a day, and he learns Spanish every day. And he's getting so much better. His friends that speak Spanish here, he's talked to back home, and they're like, oh my gosh, your Spanish has improved so much. Now, again, he's learning a slightly different dialect in Madrid, but it's going to apply, right? And for other languages too, if he ever decided to learn another language, and he was willing to be bad at it. He was bad at it. He even took it in high school. I don't know how good he was in high school. I don't think he was very good. I don't think he remembered anything. So he was having to start over. Are you willing to start over because you want to achieve something? Are you willing to be bad at something and be okay with that? I think when you learn something new, you're kind of excited to just start, to get that beginning behind you so that you can find, I couldn't wait when I started this podcast to actually feel comfortable doing it. And now this is nothing. I come up here and I do it and it's a blast, right? Okay. Are you willing to be bad at it? Are you willing to take on a new skill that's going to have a learning curve? Are you willing to do that? Okay. Okay. So number 1 was, are you passionate about it? Number 2 was, are you willing to learn a new skill? Number 3, are you willing to give up some of your time? Okay. Because you may have a full-time job or a part-time job, or you have children at home that maybe you're a stay-at-home parent and you're going to have to give up some time. So you're going to have to, I've had to do this with coaching clients. We'll sit on calls and they're like, well, when am I going to work on this? I'm like, well, you're going to figure it out at night, early in the mornings, on the weekends, give up your Friday or Saturday night or Sunday evenings or do something. You're going to have to carve out time or this isn't going to happen. So you're going to have to do it. You have to be smart about it. You have to be very efficient, right? But you're going to have to carve out the time. Are you willing to give up the time? It's like when I was getting a pet or taking on a child. Y'all, that takes up so much time, but you knew the reward. You know the reward, or you're hoping for that reward. So you're willing to give up your time. So you have to decide that, because what that can mean is if you gave up your time now and maybe you buckled down, you got this business going, what if it really got going, you could quit your part-time job, or you had extra income for things for your family, or you were able to quit your part-time job eventually and do this full-time. You never know what can happen, right? Okay. Are you willing to spend the time? Number 3, are you willing to not make money for a little while? Now, I want you to think about this. Are you willing to not make money for a little while? I think everyone needs to assume you're not going to turn a profit right away. As many of you know, I was considering opening a facial spa here in my area before I started this business because I was exploring all kinds of options, y'all, all kinds of options for a business until it hit me, right? What I should be doing. And she had told me, she had a whole plan, the consultant, and she was like, it's going to take 2 years to probably start turning a profit. And it may not even be that much. Year 3, she was trying to, we had the plan, but you just don't know, right? So you have to be willing to not make much money or no money or lose money in the beginning. You have to be prepared for that. If you are not prepared for that, maybe starting your own business isn't the best idea. Maybe starting a franchise where you know you can invest and they've got a like turnkey winning solution. I always think about Chick-fil-A. I'm like, if you could buy a Chick-fil-A, you know you have a win for the most part, right? Except, oh my gosh, y'all, we were in, where were we? Tampa, Florida. There was a Chick-fil-A in the airport. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disparage at all. I'm not trying to be mean, but I've never been to a Chick-fil-A where it was not run well. And it was not run well. It was not run well at all. It was like, is this really a Chick-fil-A? Was this like an outsourced Chick-fil-A? Is this like not the people? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about, because I love Chick-fil-A. I'm a fan. We eat there locally, but I'm just telling you, most franchises are a win. I think Chick-fil-A is a win. If you were to own one, you would do well, right? And we know that, right? So you have to have a turnkey solution, something where you can make money right away. And maybe you have to do something different. Maybe you need to get some type of hourly job. Maybe you need to find something else, okay? You're going to have a way to have income. I don't want you to not have income. You're not going to put your family's lifeline. You're not going to mortgage your home. You just have to be prepared. It's like when you go to Vegas and you're going to gamble. My husband and I take a set amount of money that we know can just be thrown out the window because it's pretty much going to get sucked out of our pockets and we're going to lose, right? I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, but y'all know what I'm saying? Like you have to plan for that. In fact, people tell you that with Facebook ads. If you ever run Facebook ads, you got to get good at it. You're going to burn through. You got to have a chunk of money that you can burn through because it's going to be a learning curve and you're going to have to figure it out. Okay. So you have to be willing not to make money for a while. Are you willing to do that? If you, this one has to be the hard stop, because if you can't go without money for a little while, if you can't subsidize this, then you can't do it right now. Maybe you could sort of like kind of get it started, but maybe not invest a lot, or just find a way to start a business where you're just offering a service. I mean, that's the best idea. Could you offer a service that doesn't cost any investment? All you have to do is wait, to see when you get clients. I'm not saying wait around and twiddle your thumbs. You're going to have to actively be trying to get clients, but you could do that. You could start a service business, coaching services, consulting. You help people somehow. You go to their house and do something. And that way it doesn't cost you any money. It is going to cost your time because you're going to have to be talking to people and networking and trying to get sales. So that is an option. If you are able to go out and network and make connections, you could probably get some clients without investing a lot in a business. You wouldn't have to have a website. You wouldn't have to have anything. You could just get it going. So that is an option. But other than that, if you're not offering a service that you're going to go do, you're probably going to be out of money for a little bit to get everything going. Because if you do want a website and you do want stuff, it's going to cost you a little bit. But I would say, just like me with business coaching, it didn't cost hardly anything to get going. I had to do my podcast because that's how I was networking to get, Zoom calls, Zoom consults so that I could start coaching people one-on-one. Okay. So that's number 4. Number 5. Okay. Here's a big one. Are you willing to put yourself out there? Like, really? Like, are you willing to maybe be a little embarrassed at first? Because I was kind of embarrassed at first. I'm like, people are going to think, like, my friends are going to be like, what is she doing? Why is she starting a podcast? Why is she doing this business? Like, you're a little bit embarrassed at what people are thinking of you. I know other new business owners that I've had in Grow Getters and Just Getting Started Group and coaching clients have said, I'm just kind of embarrassed. I feel a little self-conscious. Like, people are thinking, what is she doing starting this kind of business, right? And that's normal. And that's okay. You have to be okay with that. You have to realize not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to like your stuff. Some people are not going to understand why the heck you're starting a business. Other people love their careers and the steady income and the health insurance and the 401k, right? You're not going to have that. You're trying to make money, right? So those are the 5 things. Let's review. Are you passionate about it? I want you to be passionate about it so it's sustainable. So during the hard times, you'll keep going. Number 2, are you willing to be bad at something in the beginning and take on learning a new skill and just not be good and have it be hard and frustrating, but still do it anyways because you know the end goal? Number 3, are you willing to spend your extra time doing this? It may take away from family time. It may take away from, maybe you have volunteer commitments and things like that. I don't know, but are you willing to give up your time? Okay. At this season of your life. Number 4, are you willing to not make money for a while unless you find some way to offer a service where you could start making some money right away? Okay. Number 5, are you willing to put yourself out there and be okay with that? Because here's the deal. Here's what happened to me. Once I started realizing that people were benefiting from my podcast and that it was making a difference, and I would get messages and phone calls and DMs and started getting reviews on Apple Podcasts, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually making a difference for people. It is the best feeling in the world. And when you help people, however you do it, with a service, product, your store, coaching, consulting, digital products, when you make a difference for people and they love whatever it is that you make, you get over it. You do. You kind of get over it because you're like, now I'm not even focused on those people. I'm now focused on finding more people that I can help. That's where your focus turns, and it's the best feeling in the world. Okay. So here's a couple things, as I mentioned, that I wanted to offer to help you. Okay. Number 1, you've got to figure out your best business idea. If you agree that you're willing to take on these 5 things that we just mentioned, let's figure out your best business idea. I have a best business idea workbook and a workshop. You can check it out with the links below, and that will really help you match up your passions and skills and expertise, help you really get an idea of the best business ideas that you have. And then I give you tools for rating them and narrowing them down to figure out the best one for you. That's what you need to do. You need to narrow it down, because that's what I did. I started weighing out all my options and I narrowed it down, and I used the tools that I share in the Best Business Idea Workshop. The tools that I used to figure this out are the same ones you can use and figure yours out. Okay. Now, then if you go, okay, I've got an idea, but I need a plan. I want to know what this would look like. I want to get this vision out of my head, because what does this look like as a business? Like, I like this idea. This sounds all like unicorns and rainbows, but what is this actually going to take to get going? And so I created the mini business plan workshop so you could have a modern business plan. Okay. This is applicable to today. This is not necessarily for investors. If you were going on Shark Tank, this is not the business plan you would take. I have had clients take this with them to the banks, though, and show people that we're helping them start their business and say, this is my plan. This is what I'm trying to do. And they've used it for that, but it's not like an official like charts and numbers and graphs and projections to year. Like, that's not what it is. It's more of a modern plan to get the vision out of your head onto the paper with all the main aspects of a business. So you can start mapping out costs. You can start mapping out everything that this is going to take. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen when you do the business plan. Number 1, you get to tell everyone you know that you actually created a business plan, because that's the first thing. My husband's like, do you have a plan? And I'm like, I had to start kind of putting that together, And so you can brag now and say, I did it. I actually created a plan. I didn't just jump into it. I created a plan. But the second thing is, you're going to be super stoked about this business when you do the plan, because you're going to do it and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. It's kind of like when you look at the pictures of puppies before you go pick one out, or a cat or whatever. You're like, oh my gosh, they're the cutest things I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Now I need a dog. That's what's going to happen to you. When you do this, you're going to do the plan and you're going to be super excited and you're going to look forward to this and you're going to see how it could come to life. And then you'll have a plan when you're ready. Maybe you're ready right now, or maybe it's not the right season. Maybe it's not the right month. Maybe you need to wait 6 months or something. Maybe something's happening. You're moving, you're quitting a job, or whatever it is, right? I've had some people get divorces. I've had some people get remarried. I mean, there's things going on in your life. Let's be real. Okay. And so having a plan is there now when you're ready, and you can replicate it. Like if you come up with another business idea, you can use the plan and go through the workshop again and create the plan for that. So I created those tools for you because I know from working with all of you that this is where you get stuck. You get stuck on your idea and you mull over a bazillion ideas and you stall and you put it off. And then you get stuck like actually turning that vision and that idea into a plan so that you know what to do to get going. Right? So those are there for you. Those 2 resources, know they're there for you if you want them to help you, so you don't have to mull this over anymore. I'm just so excited for you. I really am, because I think it's a turning point in your life when you actually dig deep into this. And you know what? Starting a business isn't for everyone. It may not be the answer for you, and that's okay. The good news is you vetted it. And that's what you're doing through all of this. You're vetting this to see, is this really a good idea? Is this what I should be doing at this season of my life or not? Maybe you'll figure out it's a good idea, but it's just not the right season. You got to wait 5 or 10 years. Who knows? It doesn't matter, but you get to go through the process. You can go through the process. Everything is here for you to go through the process. And I'm just so happy for you, because I know that starting a business can change your life like it's changed mine. Okay? Y'all have an awesome day. Good luck with everything. Message me. You can DM me. My Instagram and Facebook is Start with Kimberly Brock. You can DM me, message me, post something in the Women Starting Businesses Facebook group and tag me. I would love to help you with anything going on, and just see if you have any questions, concerns, anything. Okay? Y'all have a great day. Bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.